Well, hey guys, we're back at it again. This time we're going to talk about, well, fuel systems. Okay, so as usual, there's a couple things that I wanted to get to you right out front, and that is, well, what's the purpose of our fuel system? Primarily, it's to store and deliver our fuel. Okay, that's what it does. All right, so we've got a bunch of different parts, such as a fuel tank. We've got a fuel pump. We have some lines. And then, of course, we're going to have some delivery devices, such as these, okay? And there's two main types of these delivery devices. There are carburetors, kind of old school, and then there's fuel injection, kind of like this. So there's kind of the two styles of fuel delivery devices that we actually have, okay? Now, a couple things is they operate totally differently. A carburetor actually uses airflow to make that fuel go into the engine. So it uses something called Bernoulli's principle to make that fuel go in. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But fuel injection, it uses electronics. Now I know what you're saying. There's gotta be a mechanical fuel injection system. Yes, there were, but those are kind of old school and they weren't around for very long before we got into electronically controlled fuel injection. Okay, so what are some of these parts that we have? All right, well, here's a little carburetor. It's got a little valve right here, and that's what controls the air. That's actually what you control when you put your foot on the gas pedal. This guy is what we call a two-barrel carburetor because it has two venturis inside and two barrels where air can go in and fuel can be drawn into the engine. This, little bigger, yes, a 4-barrel. And this is actually a 2-stage or progressive because 2 of them operate at lower speed, and then when you get to more power, then you open all 4. Okay, so that's a 4-barrel. Now, these guys don't require much in the way of fuel pressure, so they use mechanical fuel pumps or low pressure electrical fuel pumps. All right, but now we get into fuel injection. There's a couple different types of fuel injection. We have what's called a throttle body where the fuel injectors are right over the top of the 2 throttle plates. Looks very much like a carburetor. In fact, it could even sit in the exact same location as a carburetor. That was sort of the early style, not quite as efficient. And then we have what's called port injection, where you actually have a fuel injector for each of the intake ports. So that means each cylinder. And then this has the fuel rail. That's where the fuel is pressurized and brought into each of the injectors, which are activated electrically. But what provides all that pressure? Believe it or not, a very small, high-speed, powerful fuel pump. And those are usually inside the actual fuel tank. This is an example of what you would see inside a fuel tank. It's got a level sensor, the pump is actually down inside here, and then this whole system lowers down inside the tank. Okay, so there's some of the parts and pieces. That's kind of the purpose, and what you're gonna do is go through, read the notes, check some of the stuff out. There's some other videos. Got a whole bunch of little videos for you to look at, and you'll get to know your fuel systems. All right, talk to you later.